All right, up next in the old business, discuss consideration of owner's consent for the Reverend Morrison House to authorize and sign the consent form originally discussed back in August. Mr. Ellis, thank you for your patience. What?
You know me,
I know.
Dave Ellis, 1 Wiltshire Drive, for the record.
Please sit, Ellis. Please, David, sit.
The briefing package that was included with your agenda materials is got everything in it. I've spoken to this, 3-4 times. I've described it. Everything in that package is correct. I'll answer any questions you've got, but I don't think there's much virtue in me repeating it.
Any questions for David?
I think what I said last time we had talked to council is true. I'm in favor of doing this. I want to, we do this for a limited amount of time. If we're not getting any grants, then, like you said, we can remove it from the list. Do you know how long you need to get and pursue and to see if we need grants or?
The approval process goes before a committee, and I believe they meet about once every 3 months.
Okay.
So it's likely to be somewhere like 3 to 9 months probably before we hear whether it would even be approved.
Okay.
If you're referring to grant applications, I mean, those depend on the grants. The town's had grants for conservation stuff. You probably know more about that sort of timing than I do.
Mr. Chair, so the Heritage Commission has spoken on this item multiple times, and they had moved to not vote on this item and not move to do the historical easement, as they know that there are no grant dollars out there, and they wanted to see what was going to come out of the vote in March. And they felt like there wasn't much movement on this to do anything with it. They wanted to see potentially other options from the town manager at that time. And I believe the town manager had found that there were not really any grant options out there. Was that correct, Mr. Mulholland?
There are grant opportunities out there. Whether they apply to our circumstance is a whole open question, and the dollar amount of those grants is relatively small that are available.
Yeah, right. Where we had come to a conclusion that it would cost about $3 million to do the renovations.
I don't think you're looking at a grant for the whole thing, necessarily.
Kind of hard to piecemeal it.
Well, it depends. I mean, the grant process, there was a notice came out, Art Rugg forwarded it this afternoon, about the grant process for 2026. It's just closing now. So there is money there, but you're correct. You aren't going to find a grant for $2 or $3 million worth. But when the meeting house was discussed, when was it, about a month or 2 back, the suggestion was that for the moment, it is essentially mothballed, or I think that was the general consensus of the direction you were going in. Now, from that point, you can do pieces.
Dan, I saw you next, and then Deb.
Mr. Chair, I think it's clear that the voters did not want to spend that kind of money on this building, but it is a historical building. We have people in this community that have stepped forward and said they want to give it a shot to try to restore this building. When Mr. Ellis brought this forward before, I felt we should have listed it back then. So I think we need to move forward on this and see what's out there for grants and what's out there for money, and let's see what we can do to save this building.
Listing it doesn't mean that you have to accept a grant.
Exactly.
It makes it a little easier if you want to.
Deb, you.
So I do want to say that Hill's House in Hudson just got $75,000 to replace 4 windows in their building. Not stained glass windows, just regular old windows to get the ones with the pulley things inside. There's money out there, not huge amounts, but for specific projects. And I think that's a good thing, because it's just going to be for a grassroots effort to do this. is gonna be little baby steps at a time. And I do know that they can also go for the casino money, but they need to have recognition of the towns, like, backing them, that they have permission to do this, or they're not gonna be able to become a nonprofit, and that's gonna limit them to get what they need to move forward. I mean, I know businesses have mentioned to me that they want to get involved, but there is money out there, and not just grants. Like a lot of the banks and other bigger companies have, so he could, as a nonprofit, they can go and tell their story, and they'll make donations of $10,000 to be used towards whatever, to fix the, as long as, I mean, obviously, with towards the building, can't be just like take a trip to Bahamas, but you know what I mean? Yeah, so there are things out there to help them. I mean, I can't really tell them where to go or what to do, but they're out there, and I'm sure this would only help solidify that it's a real organization, and that they have our blessings, and they have the blessings of the state, being it a historic building.
I'll move that the Londonderry Town Council authorize the town manager to execute and submit the owner consent form to the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources for the purpose of listing the Reverend Morrison Meeting House on the State Registry of Historic Places.
I have a motion from Dan.
I want to offer an amendment because I support this and I support giving them a chance. The one thing I don't want is to get stuck into a condition. So I'd like to add to that we do that for the term of 1 year. And if we don't have a grant approved or anything else, it can revert back to its previous state, and we pursue removing it. Because if we're not getting any traction and it's not helping, that's been the holdback for me when we didn't approve it the first time.
So it would be 1 year.
So how about if we do
Yeah.
1 year after they're approved, Sean? Because he said it might take 9 months to get approved.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Approval.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I just want to give them enough time.
I'm fine with that.
That's fine, 1
Yeah.
year of approval.
All right.
Yeah. So to
Do I have
give
a
you
second?
every opportunity.
Excuse me.
Do I have a second?
I-
Ann, no,
I
Ann,
couldn't
Ann,
hear what you were saying.
do I have a second?
Yes.
All right. Any further discussion? Okay.
Could I,
Uh,
I don't, I
David.
don't think you can put a sort of an initial 1 year on it like that. Yeah, I think you'll find you have to make the application, and then in 1 year, come back yourselves and say,
Yep.
we want to take it off.
That's what we're talking about, David. We're gonna get you what you want.
To amplify that, you're
Yeah.
putting it in the motion, though.
Yeah.
The difference is,
Okay.
they're probably gonna say, well, we're not gonna do this there's no commitment from the town. I would be cautious about doing that. You can always come back at any time you wish to, but if you put that in the motion, my concern is they're gonna say,
It's probably not going to go
Yeah,
anywhere.
they
probably not
don't
gonna go
believe in
anywhere.
it.
So I
Okay.
just
All right.
So
provide that caution.
let me just ask Mr. Ellis. I'm fine with removing it to give you every chance you want. I want to give you every chance that you guys. I think it's wonderful that you've put this group together and you're pursuing saving the building. What I don't want to happen is that this will be an understanding between us. Like we can come back in a year and we'll do it if there's been no traction, that we don't get pushback on that. I want to give you your opportunity, but I always worry that we get stuck in this mode. And so if we haven't made any traction on that, I don't want the fight over, now you guys are taking it off, but nothing's happened in between. That's my only concern. So it's,
The other concern that
I
I
feel
have
like a
is
year is
I-
a reasonable.
The other concern I have is would hate to get stuck into the historical easement designation, and now we're stuck at paying higher prices for materials
Yeah.
for.
Excuse me, read
Ann,
what
Ann,
the
Ann,
head is
Ann,
there.
you're not
Read
recognized.
your home- Do
Ann.
your homework.
Ann, please. Ann,
I would hate to get stuck into a higher price designation for materials if someone all of a sudden puts a historical designation on those materials, or saying that we have to stay within a certain realm with materials that we
The
have
list,
to be able to
listing
use.
listing it on the state register doesn't have any impact
No, it
at
doesn't.
all.
okay.
You can
I'm
still
fine with
do
it just being
whatever
a
you
general
want with
agreement.
whatever materials
Yeah.
you want.
I only have one clarification.
Sure.
I know.
So when
we'll
you
redo the
say
motion.
progression,
Okay.
moving forward, what are you anticipating?
I
I mean,
mean-
you gotta give them some idea. of what
Yeah,
you're thinking.
I mean, just within the well of reason, like if all of a sudden there's 0 grants, we've got nothing, there's not a plan put together that involves it being on the list. I don't want to get, this is a pure intention. I don't want to get in the way of anything you guys are trying. I want you to have every possible opportunity. What I want to address, because this has been the concern from the council in the past, so that's what I'm trying to bridge the gap here to get you what you want. The gap, when we rejected this, was we were worried, like Ted said, about the materials and everything else, and I know you've said that it's not the case. But I think if we say, okay, if we've gotten nowhere with this in a year, and we take it back, and, you know, we're all good, we gave you your fair shot at doing it, that's what I'm proposing. So if there's any traction on it in any
So,
way,
like, if they came back, right, with
Yeah.
something from the preservation easement,
Yeah.
says, yeah, you got this, and matter of fact, you don't have to put in all the sprinkler systems, because under the New Hampshire historical thing, you get a waiver,
Yeah.
which saves all this money. If you have a document that shows that within a year
Yeah.
of getting accepted, that will be
Yeah.
sufficient for you.
it's a great
I
building.
think it's gonna
It's
take
got-
a little
so-
longer than a year. I think you.
All right, we're losing focus here. Let's get
Okay?
back to
I
the,
just wanted to understand.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Dan,
I
can you
think it's
redo
good
your
to hear.
motion, please?
thank you.
Can you restate your
We
motion?
already have an amendment on the
Councilor Faber, would you withdraw your amendment?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Can you please restate your motion?
So my motion, put my glasses on. I'll move that the Londonderry Town Council authorize the town manager to execute and submit the owner consent form to the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources for the purpose of listing the Reverend Morrison Meeting House on the State Registry of Historic Places.
I have a motion from Dan,
Second.
a second from Deb. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative, 5-0.